You don't gotta believe, cause hate is what I'm rolling on. Come on. I love the life I live. Being scared won't hold me back. I gotta fight my fears. My creative juices flowing, can't be like my peers. Cause the bullshit.
What is up, everyone? It's DJ Garcia, Raymond Garcia. Today we are reviewing Suicide Squad, and I figured today we make a little history and we do a spoilers review on Suicide Squad. So if you have not seen Suicide Squad, it would be best for you to not watch this video, so you have been warned. Overall, I did like the movie. I enjoyed it, okay? It's a very fun and entertaining film throughout, but it has some pretty strong negatives to it, like story and villain, and then just other things that happened that I did not like. And that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to start off with the positives and then go into the negatives. So again, spoilers review. If you have not seen the movie but you want to be a rebel and watch this review anyway, go ahead, I don't care. So the very first positive is the performances. Will Smith has Deadshot. Will Smith is pretty cool. He brings like that comedy element to it so well, and it's just the perfect casting. Also, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. That was awesome. She does it perfect. The way she talks is like, yeah, it sounded like Harley Quinn. And I was like, that was awesome. The way she just moves, the way she says things, when she says things, she plays that awesome too. A character that everyone was waiting for was the Joker, and I'm gonna talk about him. There wasn't enough of him, and I'm not saying that like he was amazing and I wanted more, because I mean I did want more of him, because you know he's not in it that much, and I wanted more scenes with him, but that doesn't mean I think he's like the best Joker ever. He's not. Heath Ledger to me, I just watched The Dark Knight like 2 days ago. Heath Ledger to me is still my favorite Joker of all time right now. But I can't really say much about Jared Leto's Joker because he wasn't in it. It's the same thing as Spider-Man, you know, in Captain America. He just wasn't in it enough. I can't judge if he's like that good of a Joker or that bad of a Joker. But for the amount of screen time that he did have, he was cool. I did like him. He was kind of scary and intimidating. I like his look. I didn't care about tattoos and stuff. He was pretty cool. I liked the way he talked. I thought that was cool. But there just wasn't enough of him to really like be like, is he that good of a Joker? You know what I mean? But he did do good for the amount of time he did have. Amanda Waller is probably a secondary villain in this movie. She has leverage over all of them. She knows Deadshot's weakness is his daughter. She knows Harley's weakness is like the Joker, right? She even has leverage over the villain, Enchantress. She has Enchantress's heart. She has leverage over a witch, man. And so Amanda Waller was a cool kind of villain, an evil person. She was awesome. The next positive is just the chemistry that all the characters have together. Like the character interactions, like, you know, Rick Flag with Deadshot, they had a pretty cool chemistry going. Harley Quinn and Deadshot. And then my favorite out of the entire film is the Joker and Harley Quinn. That was the greatest chemistry relationship. I didn't think they would be able to do it, but they did it. It was a cool way to show their weird and crazy minds together, and I just like how they showed how crazy they are for each other. I thought it was very well done. It was one of the best things out of the entire movie is when them two were together. And then also the cameos by Batman and the Flash. The Flash, you know, that's like, he had like 5 seconds, like literally 5 seconds in the movie. But I liked his little scene because he captured Captain Boomerang. And you guys know, like, Captain Boomerang is the enemy of the Flash, so it made sense for the Flash to kind of capture him. And then you had Batman in there, which I knew he was going to be in, but I did not know like he was going to capture Deadshot. I didn't know he was going to be the one to capture Deadshot. I was like, I didn't know he had a scene like that. And I liked the little interaction he had. He said, I didn't want to have to do this in front of your kid. That was a cool line by Batman. And then of course you had a scene where he captured Harley, and that was an awesome scene as well. The next positive is the soundtrack and the score. But I just want to let you know right now, it's kind of a negative as well. I'm going to talk about that later. But the soundtrack is cool. I loved every song that they had in this movie. And then the score, whenever they use the score, mostly for the emotional scenes, I really liked the score from Stephen Price. He was good too. Speaking of emotional scenes, I really liked the emotional element it had because it was mostly through the backstories of each character, because Deadshot has a pretty emotional backstory with his daughter, and you know, like I said, with that Batman scene, that was an emotional moment. And then you had the bar scene later on in the third act. I liked that scene, especially El Diablo. He had a crazy backstory. I think he has the worst backstory, not like in a bad way, like him he had the most emotional backstory, and it was like, that's crazy. You know, his whole family was killed by him, and it was, you know, it's like an accident because of his gift, or not really a gift, is it? He got angry and he burned them. Like, it's like kids too. And his wife. He had the most emotional, and when he was telling everyone that, you know, in that bar scene, it was like, it's just, it got to me. I was like, especially with like the music that was kind of playing with it. It was sad, man. It's a tragedy that really happened, and that's why he surrendered himself. So I really like the emotional scenes in here. It really got to you. You're like, that's crazy, and it's sad. That's also something I do like, the backstories from each character. I like how they showed Harley Quinn. She was Harley in Quinzel, and then her transformation to Harley Quinn. I do like Deadshot. You kind of shown how good of an assassin he was. Also, the character Enchantress. If you guys don't know, oh, it's a spoiler review, so you guys should know. She is the villain, which I already knew before the movie. She was cool. I liked her look, but it, again, kind of like the soundtrack, there was also a negative to her character. I will talk about later on. But for right now, I'm gonna talk about some scenes, and they're mostly in the beginning. I liked the character Enchantress, and I liked the story that she is inside the body of that doctor. And the coolest scene is the hand scene. So she had her hand on the table and it like flipped over into Enchantress. That right there was like something you'd see in a scary movie. I thought that was awesome. And the way she looked, she looked like a witch. And she, you know, with like the black clothing and the black kind of smoke around her and her like little kind of red eyes. Her appearance was scary and she was intimidating. Something that really stood out to me as well, this one particular part, and that is when El Diablo transforms himself. He has like a transformation and his appearance completely changes, and he turns into this like demon fire guy. I don't even know what it was. And when that happened, that was the craziest thing I've seen, and it was the coolest thing I've seen, because I didn't expect it. I didn't know he can do that. And so when it finally happened, I was like, oh shit, he's like a huge fire guy. That was one of the highlights of the film. And then of course, you know, he dies, and it's like, that's kind of sad. But when he transformed into that thing, I was like, that was just, oh my god. So those are more of the positives that I can think of this film. I'm sure there's more that I probably missed, but now we're gonna get into the negatives. We'll start with the villain, Enchantress. She was a positive. I liked her look. It was at the end when she started transforming into like a, I don't even know, she wasn't transforming, but her appearance changed and she didn't look scary anymore. She was like blue and greenish, and I was like, that's not really scary. She's kind of like bright colors. Also, her motivation, and it was just the story behind her at that moment was like, I did not like how her parents changed. I did not like the brother that she brought in. I don't even know his name. I'm just gonna call him the brother of Enchantress, the villain, the other villain. I did not like him, even his appearance I didn't really like. And the story. They wanted to destroy mankind because they're not gods anymore when they used to, like 6,000 years ago before that. That's just a simple kind of story. And they wanted to create some device that would destroy the entire Earth. And I was like, a very simple plan. Kind of like a, you know, we're gonna destroy all of Earth. And it's just, we've seen that a lot of times. And it's like, yeah, I just didn't like it. I didn't buy it. Blue and bright colors shining everywhere, and it was noticeable. Like, the CGI was pretty bad in this film. That's another negative I have. The CGI in this film, it's not that good. Like, it's not bad either, but it's also not good at all. It's like in the middle. Also, a negative is the dialogue. Like, some things that people would say. And El Diablo, he said everyone was his family. He said, these are my people. It's the way he said it. And it was like, okay, that felt a little cringe. You know? I was like, these people are not your people. It's like, you barely know them. It was just things like that. I can't remember what lines because I seen it last night and I can't remember. But I do remember when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, that was bad. So dialogue is something that wasn't that good for me. And then story, which I already touched up on. I didn't overall like the villain, and I didn't like her brother, whatever his name is, and I didn't like what they're doing, like their master plan. And it's like the narrative, like everything was a mess in the third act. And I'm gonna tell you how. Because they saved Amanda Waller, and then Harley tries to escape out of nowhere because the Joker's there. Joker crashes and Harley kind of jumps out the plane. And then Amanda Waller tries to leave on her helicopter, and then she crashes and then gets kidnapped by Enchantress, the minions. So then now the squad has to go save Amanda, but then the squad gets mad at Rick Flag because they found out the actual mission. And then you know, they have that scene where they go into the bar and then they kind of like, they talk and stuff. And then Rick Flag comes in and he says, you guys are free to go if you want. And then they kind of join back together, and with no explanation or real reason. Like, he didn't really apologize or anything. And then they're like, okay, we'll help you. And it's like, okay. So then they kind of like form back together, and then they go do the final mission. And it's like, so much happened within a short period of time. It was kind of hard to keep up. And I was like, okay, it's kind of a mess right there. And I didn't like it. And you know, it sucks. So now we get to that negative I was talking about, the soundtrack. They just used it too much. Like, at first it was okay, but then they keep bringing in songs. Like, you know, I heard Kanye West, I heard Eminem, I heard all these other classic songs, you know, the White Stripes, Seven Nation Army, and it was all within like a short period of time. I heard so many classic songs, and it just like, they kept throwing them at you, man, and I didn't like it. But don't get me wrong, like I said, I do like each individual song. I do like Black Skinhead, I do like Seven Nation Army, and I do like Without Me. I do like those songs, but they just use them too much. But overall, it is a fun movie. Suicide Squad is fun and entertaining, but with some pretty strong negatives in the end, mostly in the third act. But I would go see it again in theaters. I would go see it again because it's that much fun and it's that much entertaining. But those are mostly the positives and negatives that I have for this film. Overall, it is an enjoyable movie. So that is my review for Suicide Squad. If you guys like the review, please give it a like. It really helps me out. Comment down below and let me know what you think about Suicide Squad if you've seen it. And if you want to see more on my channel, please subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.